So a lot of you have asked for it. I have wanted to do it for a hot minute and I'm finally getting around to it. Today I'm reviewing this roaster, the Mill City TJ067 1 kilogram coffee roaster. Now I'm going to come right out the gate and admit this is more of a why I love this roaster because I haven't found many cons with it, but nevertheless, let's just go through some of the basic features of it and we'll start with how much it roasts. So you can put 2.2 pounds of green coffee into it. I roast a light roast so I don't lose a ton of moisture. I get about 1.9 pounds out depending on the coffee I'm roasting. I use propane to roast, so you can hook it up to natural gas. It comes set up for natural gas, but it also comes with the orifice, there we go, orifice to roast on propane. You just have to switch it yourself. But yeah, so I roast on propane. It burns a little hotter, a little faster, and I'm out in the countryside, so I don't have access to natural gas. It also has variable drum speed and variable airflow. Those are very important. Drum speed, not so much. I never change my drum speed unless I change the batch size, so I guess in that regard it is helpful. But the variable airflow, having the ability to go from completely off to full speed, is great. That's a lot of roasters have no control over the airflow besides the damper and the exhaust. With the fan on one speed, doesn't give you as much control. It is 100% steel construction. I don't think there's any cast iron on it, although this lower portion, kind of the chassis of the roaster, to me seems like it's cast iron, but it does say on the website 100% steel. Now I don't have this, but the new ones do, and that's a double wall drum. A double wall drum is supposed to provide more consistency and better heating and better insulation. Like I said, mine doesn't have it. Mine is from like September of 2016, I think this model landed in the US, and I've owned it for about a year. Perhaps its strongest feature is its power in terms of gas output. Its max output is 25,000 BTU. Now I have no clue what BTU stands for, but I just know that's really powerful. And I know that because this, again, is a 2-pound roaster. And I have heard from Scott Rayo that for every 5,000 BTU, you can roast a pound. So that means this could technically roast up to 5 pounds of coffee if you could fit it in the drum, but you can't. So what I'm getting at though is this roaster is incredibly powerful, and I think that's its strongest feature, but more on that later. The price. It is $5,800. I don't know what it is after shipping, but to me that's a great price point. Much more affordable than say like a Probatino. I'm not sure exactly what they cost, but I think in the $20,000 range. It comes with a step-up transformer. So the roaster itself runs on 220 volt, but if you're like me and you're roasting at home or you don't have access to an outlet that can handle 220 volts, it comes with the transformer, so you can plug that into a standard 110 and then it steps it up, so you can plug the roaster right into that and you're good to go. Additionally, it comes with a cyclone, and that is nothing more than just essentially a container to collect all the chaff. You vacuum it out after every roast day. Really easy cleanup. It has 4 probes. It has 2 near the beans. 1 is right in the bed of the beans. 1 is in the very back of the roaster, and that's incoming air. And then 1 is out here. That is your environmental temperature. It's right in the bean chute, like right beneath the hopper. And you can plug all these probes up to a USB connection into your laptop to use Artisan, Cropster, whatever it is you prefer. A little more in depth on the pros. Incredibly powerful, sturdy build, easy to clean, very functional. I just want to say my favorite thing about this roaster is how powerful it is, because like I said, the 25,000 BTU, it can roast technically up to 5 pounds. I don't ever really push the gas that much further beyond halfway, and that's only when I'm doing a slightly darker roast and I hit it up front with a lot of heat. But besides that, on my lighter roast, I'm usually maxed out at about halfway. So that should tell you it has so much wiggle room in terms of power And same with airflow. The highest I go is about 70% in terms of full, 0 to 100. I go about 70% on airflow at my highest. So again, lots of wiggle room, very powerful, and additionally, there's dedicated cooling fans. So the cooling tray right over here has its own dedicated fan, and then in the very back of the roaster, there's the dedicated airflow fan. So what that allows is when you drop a batch, you turn on this fan over here, and that sucks ambient air, room temperature air, through the beans to cool them off. So while those are cooling off, you could throw another batch in and use the airflow fan back there. Other roasters, like say a Diedrich, it has one fan, and you either have the option of running it halfway through, as in half of the power goes to the drum, half of it goes to the cooling tray, or you can run it pure cooling tray or pure drum. Not very functional if you ask me, which leads to my next point. This roaster is incredibly functional. Everything about it is just very easy. It's straightforward. Roasting is complex enough. I believe the roaster should just serve as a tool, and it's very much a, what's the right word? It's very much a working class roaster. There's no frills on it. It's very straightforward, but also nothing is missed. Every detail is looked after and treated with, attention. Everything about it, I believe, is just functional, powerful, and easily applicable to roasting. Leaves us with the cons, and these are not necessarily cons by fault of Mill City. These are just some of the things to be aware of that have troubled me a little bit. The weight of this thing, it's insanely heavy. Now Mill City says it's 200 pounds. I have a little bit of trouble believing that, because when I bought this thing, I bought it very lightly used off of someone, and I thought my stepdad and I could just lift it ourselves if it was only 200 pounds. It took all three of us, and it was a freaking mission. So I'm not entirely convinced that just the body itself is only 200 pounds. I think it may be closer to like maybe 270 or somewhere in there. It's heavy as hell. So just be aware of that, but ultimately that does mean, good build, solid steel, yada yada. Also, if you're trying to build a business with a 1 kilo roaster, be aware it is very challenging. Like I said, I roast light roast and I get 1.9 pounds out. So if you're going to roast dark roast, you may even get down to like 1.5 pounds. You can get about 2.5 to 3 batches in per hour, just depending again on your own profiles. I get about 3 batches in an hour, so that puts me at somewhere about, 5.7 pounds an hour. The most I can do and keep my sanity in a day is usually about 30 pounds, and it can be challenging. But again, I knew what I was getting into, but it has already proven to be a low ceiling in terms of growth. Also, it is sensitive to temperature fluctuations. This shed sometimes gets really hot. There's no AC, there's no insulation or anything like that, so whether it's cold or whether it's hot, the roaster is small and picks up on that very easily. It's kind of fun. It challenges you as a roaster to keep the roaster at a level temperature, but it is just something to be aware of. If you are in a place that throughout the seasons the temperature fluctuates a lot, it's going to challenge you to keep your roaster at the right temperature to have consistency. If I were you and you were looking into buying this roaster, I highly recommend it. The price point is great. The power is unparalleled, and I promise you that's the truth. You can put a full 2.2 pounds in here, and you could probably even put more. I would say maybe at the 2.5 pound mark. After that, you're going to start to see some inconsistencies. But anyways, a lot of other roasters suggest you put 80% of the listed batch size. Mill City says, screw that, you can put 100% and we guarantee it's going to roast well. So the power of this thing, all the features, easy to clean, no frills, great price point. Highly recommend Mill City. I personally will be upgrading to Mill City, and lots of them are coming out with new great features like an air pressure gauge, so you can dial in your airflow even more consistently. But again, their customer service also, real quick. Mill City's customer service is freaking great. They respond quickly. They're very helpful. They answer questions. Even when you feel like you're getting annoying, they're so nice that they remind you they are there for you. But anyways, I hope that's helpful. I know that was a lot of information. I tried to run through it quickly just so you guys can get, exactly what you need. But anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Keep any video recommendations coming. I greatly appreciate it. And like, comment, subscribe, ask me questions. It's been great engaging with you guys. We'll talk soon.